I just found this out. All the people who don't press the free like button on my videos are the same people that think the wrestling business is better off being led by wrestlers who do flips and dives and kicks over larger than life characters who look like men. See, you are the problem. See, your ass want Nick Wayne to idolize Will Ospreay and not idolize the fucking Miz. See, you are the problem. You are the problem because you are the reason why we have no future. You want guys that do flips and dives and kicks to lead this future. I'm like, wow, man. I want charismatic guys with personality, gimmicks, characters, who can talk, who look like men. Those are the guys who should be the face of this business, like a Juice Robinson, Max, Grace Waller, The Miz, Braun Breaker, Trick Williams. Those are the guys. Fucking Ricky Starks. Those are the guys who should be the face of this business and not flippy dippy guys like Ospreay, Omega, Nick Wayne, Jack Perry, Dante Martin. No. See, those are the guys that don't press the free like button on my videos. Guys that are fans of the flips and dives and the kicks. That has not grown this business. But all the people who always press the free like button, see, those guys, they like charismatic guys who look like men, who draw money, who can fucking talk, who are not all about the work rate. Press the free like button, man. This video should be over 100 likes because of that factor. I don't like flippy dippy characters. I don't like flippy dippy guys that are replaceable like a Will Ospreay. Now, what do I think about Brian Pillman Jr. leaving All Elite Wrestling? This is the best thing to ever happen to him. And here's why. I feel like Tony Khan, man, dude, he really disrespected the legacy of that Pillman last name. This dude turned a second generation wrestler into a jobber. He turned Brian Pillman's son into a jobber. That's like, wow, man, are you insane? So in hindsight, this moron, he chose Nick Wayne over Brian Pillman Jr. Literally calling me. So in hindsight, this moron got rid of Brian Pillman Jr., a second generation wrestler, for Nick Wayne, a Will Ospreay wannabe, a Will Ospreay cosplay, a guy who idolizes Will Ospreay, a guy who looks like Will Ospreay. I'm telling you, man, you kids have really killed the wrestling business. We live in a world where kids don't want to be the Miz. Let that sink in for just a second. They don't want to be the Miz. They don't want to be a multi-billionaire for the biggest company. They don't want to be a Hall of Fame talent. They don't want to have safe matches. They don't want to have a hot, sexy-ass wife like he has. But instead, you want to be Will Ospreay. You want to be fucking Ricochet, right? You want to be fucking Dante Martin. You want to be Omega. You want to be Okada. You don't want to be like Max. You don't want to be like Juice Robinson. You don't want to be like fucking Ricky Starks. And that's the problem. There's too many interchangeable fucks in wrestling. Hence why wrestling is on the verge of just being dead in the next couple of years. We have too many interchangeable fucks. Listen, Will Ospreay has gotten replaced by Nick Wayne. A 18-year-old kid has replaced Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay will be replaced by his clone, who looks up to him. So what I'm saying is, he has made a domino effect where all these kids want to be him, and now they will replace you because it's easy to be the next Will Ospreay. don't cut promos, don't have a character, but do flips and dives and kicks and have 5-star matches and have the crowd saying, "This is awesome," and have a short career. And then Nick Wayne, his replacement is coming soon also. So it's a cycle that's never going to end. If you want to be Will Ospreay, guess what, bitch? Your replacement is in high school waiting for your downfall, because it's easy to be you. It's easy to be Ricochet. All you gotta do is train a local fucking gymnast and bam, that's Ricochet. It's easy to be him. It's easy to be Will Ospreay. It's easy to be Omega. That's why there's so many guys that are just fucking interchangeable, where it's wrestling is no longer popular because everybody has the same moveset. Like I said, Tony Khan don't give a fuck about Will Ospreay anymore. He already has his replacement, Nick Wayne. And then Nick Wayne, when he gets old, he will have his own replacement at age 25, most likely. Because everybody has the same moveset. Dude, there's people in California, there's indie wrestlers in California who are carbon copies of Nick Wayne. Let that sink in. How's he a hot prospect? He's not a hot prospect. He is interchangeable. He is wrestler A. What's so special? Flips and dives and kicks, and he has bad facials that look like Will Ospreay. Like, bro, he's not a hot prospect. It's crazy. Tony Khan's idea of a hot prospect is Sammy G, Jack Perry, Nick Wayne. Who else? Like, just other people. That's his mindset of what a hot prospect is. Dante Martin. That's his idea of a hot prospect. Those kind of guys. Versus Vince McMahon's version of a hot prospect, Rene Dupree. A guy that was 6'2", 240 at age 19, 18 years old, who had the same experience as Nick Wayne. That's what a hot prospect is. A guy that is a generational talent that don't come by often. When was the last time we saw a 19-year-old wrestler looking swole and jacked up with charisma and could talk and had a character like Rene Dupree? That's what a hot prospect is. A guy that was called up to the fucking main roster at age 19 with the damn big dogs. With John Cena, Orton, the fucking big dogs at a young age. You know why? Because he looked like a grown man. He was 19, but he looked like a grown man. He looked like he could fuck you up. He was made for the main roster. He didn't need the indies. When you look like that, you don't need any more indie matches. That's what a hot prospect looks like. Braun Breaker, Orton, Shelton Benjamin, Edge, Brock Lesnar, Braun Breaker, Trick Williams, Roman Reigns. That's what a prospect looks like. Rocky Maivia in 1995. When he was Flex fucking Cabana. Okay, bitch? That's what a hot prospect looks like, you dumb bitch. Not some bony ass skinny kid out of fucking high school who looks up to Will Ospreay. Dude, there's a lot of kids, man, that don't like Max. There's a lot of kids, man, that don't like Juice Robinson. There's a lot of kids that don't like Bray Wyatt. There's a lot of kids that don't like The Miz, that don't like Grayson Waller. There's a lot of kids that don't like Bill Goldberg. There's kids that don't like Braun Breaker. But they love Ricochet. They love Ricochet. They love Dante Martin. They love Sammy G. Right? They love those kind of wrestlers, and that's a bad thing. They love Jack Perry. They love fucking Okada. Guys like that. Guys that are all about the work rate. It's like, it's insane. You are killing the business. It's like, dude, you don't want to be like the Miz? You don't want to make tons of money doing less work in the ring with less injuries, safe matches, fucking hot bitches, and making more money than guys like Will Ospreay? Who's in a better spot in their life? The Miz or Will Ospreay? How many people know who the fuck he is? How many people know who the fucking Miz is, bitch? Who's winning? If Will Ospreay had his own reality show on the USA Network, you will not watch it. He ain't no star. But the Miz does less work in the ring, and yet he is a fucking star. Nobody knows who Will Ospreay is. Only you fucking marks do. It's like, let me give you more insight on why this is a huge issue. There was people that were saying that when they paired up Bronson Reed with the Miz, people were saying that was a downgrade from, dude, they said that was a downgrade from Okada. That's how warped your fucking minds are. That's how brainwashed you are. That's why this business is fucking dead. Oh my God, I can't believe I saw that online. People are saying Bronson Reed had a downgrade by being paired with The Miz because he faced Okada previously. Nobody knows who the fuck Okada is, bro. So how is that a fucking downgrade? The Miz is a mainstream talent. He's a Hall of Famer, world champion, Grand Slam champion. And you are saying that's a downgrade to be the Miz bodyguard? All because he was wrestling Okada? He was wrestling Okada in front of what, 40,000 viewers? That's a downgrade? So then, you kill this business that I love. There's no more stars. Everybody is replaceable. When Will Ospreay retires, we will not remember him because you nerds will jerk off to Nick Wayne, Dante Martin, etc. Sammy G, who does the same thing that he does. You will forget about these guys. But guess what? You will not forget about Braun Breaker. You will not forget about Max. You will not forget The Rock. You won't forget Stone Cold Steve Austin. There's a reason why, still to this day, there is no replacement for The Rock and Stone Cold. Even John Cena couldn't replace those guys. You know why? They were once-in-a-lifetime athletes, once-in-a-lifetime characters that you cannot replace. Same thing with Taker. You can't replace Taker. You can't replace original characters like that. That's why it's important to be original so you can be unreplaceable. Who is more replaceable, Stone Cold Steve Austin or Will Ospreay? That should be a poll. That should be a poll. Who is more replaceable, Triple H or Will Ospreay? Who is more replaceable? Who is more easy to find on the indies? Who is more replaceable, Brock Lesnar or Will Ospreay? See, you don't get what the fuck I'm saying. And some dumbass said, what stars from All Elite Wrestling has a WWE pushed? I'm like, wow, what a stupid, dumb comment. Bruh, have you seen Dragon Lee? He's on TV every week. That's all that matters. He's on TV more than he was in AEW. Have you seen the NXT women's division? All those girls used to be on AEW Dark. Look where they're at now. They on TV every fucking week getting pushed. Dummy. Look at Cody Rhodes. Prime example. This guy, his career was dead in AEW. It was dead. You fans turned on him. You booed him. He was trying to be a face, but you booed him. You hated him. He was the most hated guy on the roster, even though he was a face. He couldn't come back from it. He was done. He had no choice but to leave. Because you dorks, you killed his star power. Until Vince McMahon brought back his star power. And no, it had nothing to do with Cody Rhodes being a homegrown talent for that said WWE. Yes, Cody Rhodes was a homegrown talent. Yes and no, right? Why did he leave in the first place? Oh, because he hated being Stardust. They saw him as a mid-card guy, as a low-tier mid-carder. That's how they saw him. That's why he left. So he built up his name. Then he started AEW. But his star power turned to shit once the fans turned on him. So he was no longer a star anymore because he was dead. He was done. There was no way in hell he was going to turn things around and those fans were going to cheer him. They were done with him. So he moves on to the WWE. They pushed him because he came from AEW. They wanted to spite Tony Khan. That's what Vince McMahon wanted to do. He wanted to spite AEW. Right? There's always that narrative of, oh, look what Tony Khan did for Dean Ambrose. Look what he's doing for Daniel Bryan, Chris Jericho, right? Tony Khan did not push Cody Rhodes as a main eventer. So Vince said, okay, I'm going to take your EVP and I'm going to push this guy to the fucking moon. Just to fucking spite you. Just to prove to you, you don't know what you're doing. I'm going to show you how you push Cody Rhodes. Because Vince wants to attract more guys and girls from AEW. If he buries Cody Rhodes, that's it. Nobody will leave. Hence why Brian Pillman was bold enough to leave. Because he knows that the grass is now greener. Cody Rhodes being a homegrown talent has nothing to do with his current push. By that same logic, why did they sign and then release John Morrison, who was a homegrown talent? So you can't give me that dumbass logic. They are pushing Cody Rhodes all because he was buried in All Elite Wrestling. They want to prove Tony Khan wrong. They want to show him up. They want to show, hey, you dropped the ball with Cody Rhodes. I'm going to pick up that ball and show you how you were supposed to book this man. Hence why Cody Rhodes will now be in the main event on back-to-back WrestleManias next year. Dude, Vince McMahon saved this guy's career. How the hell can you go from being the most hated guy in your old company that you founded to now he is the most over guy in professional wrestling right now? That's crazy. That means Cody Rhodes was a pet project for Triple H and Vince. He was hated, now he's loved. That's all because of Vince and Triple H, how they booked this guy. So that leads me to Brian Pillman. Brian Pillman Jr. was buried in All Elite wrestling, and I don't know why. Why didn't you capitalize on the dark side of the fucking ring? I don't get it. It's like this guy has tons of pedigree, man. He's friends with the Hart family. His father is a legend. It's like, I don't get it. You had it in the palm of your hands to push this guy as a big deal. Like, why can't he be a pillar? He is a second generation guy. And he's still young. I'm like, you push him. Instead, we are pushing Sammy G, Jack Perry. Who is better? Jack Perry or Brian Pillman Jr.? That is crazy. You could have had a recognizable name as your pillar, Brian Pillman Jr. But I'm glad he's gone. So now that leads us to how would I book him if he was in NXT? Which I think that's where he's going. That's where he should go. He should be in NXT. I feel like he's made for NXT, and I feel like when he goes there, he will be the face of NXT because they love second generation guys, and Vince McMahon loved Brian Pillman Sr. So just imagine he now has his son on the roster. He's going to push him like he wanted to do his father until he died. And okay, how would I book Brian Pillman Jr.? Like, obviously, they would change his name, but hopefully he keeps the Pillman name. You gotta keep the Pillman name. You have to keep the Pillman legacy alive, right? Look, there's a lot of people that don't know who Brian Pillman Sr. is. That is the sad part. I feel like I'm the only guy on YouTube who is keeping his name alive, which is sad. So I feel like his son needs to keep that last name when he comes to the WWF. He needs to keep that name, right? Just like Charlotte Flair, right? Her first name is not a real name, but her last name, that's her real name. That should be Brian Pillman Jr. Now, what would I name him? I would name him Steve Pillman. I would name him Steve Pillman because his father was best friends with Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's a callback to the Hollywood Blondes. I'm like, okay, why not? Why not name him Steve Pillman? I feel like that is a great callback. I would book him. I would give him a Brian Pillman loose cannon like character, but not like all the way. In terms of, I would give him a free agent gimmick because you see now, Brian Pillman Jr. he is now very similar to his father, right? His father was fired by WCW. His son was fired by All Elite Wrestling. So you can play off that now. Now him and his father, they got something in common. So I would give him a free agent gimmick where he shows up to NXT, but he shows up as an unsigned guy. And he has a promo, and I would have him bury Tony Khan. I would have him call him Mr. Con Man, right? I would have him bury All Elite Wrestling. I would have him bury Tony Khan, but not say his name, but we will get the reference. He needs to cut a promo on his old company that made him a fucking jobber. It's like, wow, they chose Julia Hart over Brian Pillman Jr. That's crazy. So this guy now has a backstory on why he's pissed off. He feels like, man, I'm the son of Brian Pillman Sr., but I'm not getting no respect like these other second generation talents that are getting this kind of respect. I feel like that should be his gimmick. His gimmick should be a pissed off guy that he's not getting no respect based on him being the son of Brian Pillman Sr. Like I said, I would make him very loose cannon light, but I would make him a chill version of loose cannon. Look, that's his father, so I have no problem with him trying to be his father. Like, duh, like that's his dad. It's like, yeah, he should be his dad. It's like, duh. But I would have him target the North American title, right? He has to build his way up because he ain't no big name. He hasn't done shit in this business, so he has to work his way up. I would have him chase after the North American title, right? We have to start out small. We have to start out small, baby. But he should be the face of NXT. And I think he will be because of that name, because of that last name. They will push him out of spite. But here's why he should be in NXT. Because I still think he's kind of green. I feel like they will help him better on his promos. They will help him train better. Because I feel like he has a lot of bad habits that they will fix. Like, I feel like he needs to hit the ropes harder. He needs to take better bumps. It's like, I'm telling you, if he was in the PC, I'm telling you, man, he will be a fucking star. Because they will clean up all his bad habits that he has gotten on the indies. It's like, look, dude, he has tons of upside. I feel like Shawn Michaels will work wonders with this guy. So I feel like that's where he should go. They should sign Brian Pillman Jr. and give him a monster push to show Tony Khan fucked up by burying a second generational talent. They should push him just because of that. It's like, man, why couldn't you capitalize on the fact that he's the son of Brian Pillman? That's crazy. He looks just like him. Like, what the fuck we doing? But the reason I say he should go there because they love second generational talents. That's all they push. They love second generational guys. Look at Roman Reigns. Look at Rhodes. Look at Braun Breaker. That's what I mean. Look at Dom. I feel like if Brian Pillman was on that roster, they will book him correctly and not make him a fucking jobber. Let's be real. He was a job guy, which is fucking sad. That's wild. But Vince McMahon is going to love Brian Pillman Jr. because he loved his father. A lot of people don't know this, but Vince, his goal was to make Brian Pillman Sr. a world champion. But obviously he died. But that was Vince McMahon's goal, to make him a world champion. And look, Brian Pillman Sr., they signed into a big ass contract. Like, Vince loved that dude. He signed the biggest free agent contract of all time at that time period. That's how much he loved Brian Pillman Sr. So just imagine, what will he do with his son, who looks just like him? So I would give him a Brian Pillman loose cannon-like character, but not all the way, right? Add bits and layers to it, but he should be a chill version of his father. Not crazy, but just a chill version, like a cold bastard. That's what I mean. Name him Steve Pillman. Have have a badass attitude like Steve Austin, but try to mix it with loose cannon. Like, why not? That's his father, and Steve was his best friend. I feel like that makes sense. So those are my thoughts. I feel like this is the best thing to ever happen to Brian Pillman Jr. And obviously, look, this is what Cody Rhodes said was going to happen. He said more guys are going to be bold enough to come over here now because of me. That's what Cody Rhodes said. Cody Rhodes said there's more guys that will come now because I'm here. Like, I ain't sure, but I think Cody helped sign Brian Pillman Jr. So I think Cody Rhodes will put in the good word for him. Who else? Kid. Tyson Kidd knows him. His wife knows him. So look, Brian Pillman has a lot of friends in that company that will put in the good word for him. Now, look, man, he has a backstory. He has a backstory that sounds like his father. Like I said, you can book that. You can play off that. Turn him into Brian Pillman Sr. 2.0 now. All Elite Wrestling made that guy a fucking jobber and they fired him. Now he's pissed off. Make that a gimmick. That's all I'm saying. I'm done.